Today I'm going to teach you how to create this animated bouncy ball using Adobe Photoshop CC. Let's begin by loading Adobe Photoshop, going up to File and New, and let's create a new document with the dimensions of 10 inches for the width, 5 inches for the height, and 72 pixels for the resolution. Go ahead and name this bouncing ball. Hit OK. Next, let's load the timeline. So go under Window, click on Timeline. Make sure the timeline is set up so it is on Create Frame Animation. So we're going to click down here, click Frame Animation. Then you need to also click on Create Frame Animation so it loads the timeline correctly. Now let's go into the word View. Make sure that the Snap feature is checked off. So go under View and just make sure you see a check mark next to Snap. Also make sure the rulers are turned on. Okay, we're going to begin by creating a path for the ball to follow. We're going to create a new layer. We're going to call this layer Path. And then we're going to go over to the polygon tool, which is found over here in the shapes. Right click or hold the mouse button down, go to the polygon tool. And let's create a three-sided polygon. Let's make sure that we are on Path. And we will click once on the screen and we will enter in 300 pixels. Highlight this 300, hit OK. That'll create a triangle. Next, click Command and the letter T for transform. Hold the Shift key down, put the mouse near the corner, and drag this over until the point is straight up. Then move the object over to the edge of the frame to where it's split right here on the edge of the frame. And then we're going to hit the check mark. Next, we're going to select the Convert Point tool, which it is found under the pen tool right here. So you're going to right click on the pen tool, go to Convert Point tool. We're going to hold the Shift key down, grab this point, and we're going to drag it out until we're at 1.5 inches on the top. If you look there, up there on the top, I'm at 1.5 inches. Okay, next we're going to make a copy of this. We're going to make 2 more copies. So you hold down the Option key, click and drag, and let's line them up so they're touching down here on the bottom. Let's drag another one. Again, I'm holding down the Option key, and I click and drag it over like so. Now we're going to resize these. Let's go ahead and, since this one is still selected, you can see a dots on this shape, hit Command T, and we're going to pull this down until it's lined up at 3.5 inches over on the left ruler. So if you look over here, it was at 3.5. Let's hit the check mark. Let's go to the middle one, click once, hit Command T, and let's pull this one down to, let's try 2.5 inches. Again, I'm using the ruler on the side over here, so that's 2.5, and then hit the check mark. And then we need to stroke a line to the path. So we're going to go ahead and let's make sure we have black selected. Let's make sure that we are on paintbrush. Let's make sure the brush size up here is set to 2 pixels, hardness set to 100%. Click back on the number 2 up there. And now we're going to select all these 3 paths using the white or black arrow, doesn't matter which one. Highlight. Then I want you to right click on one of the lines. You're going to go to stroke path. Make sure it's on brush, click OK, and you see that it has been stroked and we have a black line. Now we need to remove the path, so right click, delete path, and now we have a path for the ball to follow. Okay, next we're going to create a little round red sphere. So let's go over to the shape tools. Let's grab the ellipse tool and let's change what kind of ellipse we're going to create. So go up here at the top, choose shape. I chose a red fill. I also make sure the stroke is on no stroke. Color red. And then you're just going to click once on the screen. And let's go ahead and put in 36 pixels for both these boxes. Click OK. And we are given a red sphere or red ball. Let's take the Move tool, grab the ball, let's put it right up here so it splits the screen starting on the line. Now at this point I like to turn off the snap feature because the ball tends to snap right to an invisible grid. So I'm going to turn off the snap. And we can see over here in the layers that you have a white background, we have our path to follow, and we have our first ball that's called ellipse 1. And you should have a box with a little square in it. And again, I got that by going to the ellipse tool. Make sure that you are on shape, choose a fill color, choose no stroke. Okay, we are now going to copy this ball. So again, make sure that we are unsnapped, which it is. We're going to go to the, let's say the move tool. We're going to hold the option key down and you're going to click and drag this ball and make a copy. They should be touching each other because we're dealing with two factors. We're going to be dealing with momentum and gravity. As the ball starts to fall down the path, it's going to fall faster, and so the spacing between the balls are going to become greater. So again, we're going to hold the option key, drag again. This one I'm going to put just a little bit away from it. Now you can always go back and move it. Don't be holding down the option key when you do this, but just get a little bit of spacing. I'm going to hold the option key, drag another copy, put a little bit more space in between. Now the next one, a little bit more. Next one, a little bit more. Next one, a little bit more. And then the last one, we'll put it down here on the bottom touching. Now I'm not going to worry about teaching guys how to make the ball flat to make it appear like a rubber ball's been bouncing. I think this is good. Now I'm going to start going up the other way. So I'm holding down the option key and we're going to drag a copy up. Another copy. Now these are kind of spread out a little bit apart from each other because after the ball hits, it's going to have more speed going up. But once it reaches the top of the arc right here, it's going to slow down. So the balls need to get closer to each other to slow it down. So I'm going to hold the option key, get it closer. Option key. I just keep the option key held down as I do this. So now they're starting to touch. Across the top, it's fine because it is slowing down here. Make sure they're touching. That's okay. We could, since we're going down here, the hill will start giving a little bit of extra space between them. So now I'm going to start giving some space, a little more space, and a little bit more space. Okay, now if you see that some of the spacing's off, you can always go over to the layers over here, and like I'm going to click on copy 17. I'm going to move this up a little bit. I'm going to go to copy 16, move this up maybe a little bit. Because I want the spacing to grow. I want it to be touching, gets a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, 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 bigger. I guess I can move number 18 down a little bit so it's resting right on the bottom here. You can always use the arrow keys to get it just correct, just right. And then we're going to go back and I'm going to hold the option key and start making these copies. Now these are going to start getting closer. Now we can go a little bit farther apart. And that's probably good for the last one because the other one's going to disappear and there's not really room for it. So we'll leave it at that. Okay, so you have your pattern all set up. You got the spacing correct. You can always go back here and adjust any of them that you want to. Now we're going to create all the frames down here from all the layers. Click on the little sub menu right here at the end of the timeline. Let's go to make frames from layers. It's going to create all your frames down here, and as you notice, some of them don't have, almost all of them don't have a white background. So we're going to click on, let's see, frame 1 is white, frame 2 has a pattern. Has a path. I want to delete these two layers, or these two frames. So hold the shift key, select both those, hit the trash can. Yes, I want to delete those two out. So now the ball is starting here on frame 1. I'm going to leave that one lit up blue. I'm going to move the little slider over. I'm going to hold down the shift key and click on frame 26. So they're all lit up blue. And now I'm just going to come over here to the layers and I'm going to turn on the background layer with the eyeball. That'll apply the white background to the whole thing. Make sure that where it says once, this is set to forever. And then let's go ahead and play this thing and see how it looks. Should have a natural bounce. Now remember that the speed can be changed by adjusting the spacing between the balls, or the amount of frames in an animation. I've got 20, I forget how many frames I got here. I got 26 frames. We want the ball to appear as if gravity and momentum are actually affecting the ball. So again, it all depends on your spacing. It should slow down on the top. This has a good natural bounce. And that is it. At this point, I want you guys to save it. So hit stop, go up to File, Save As. Make sure you have it titled as Bouncing Ball. Save it into your folder you created on your desktop. So you may have to click on the little triangle down here or the little arrow. Click on Desktop. Navigate to your folder. Make sure your folder comes up right here. Name it Bouncing Ball and hit Save. Click OK on the screen. And that is it.